fundamental shift happening right now in how complex robots are being trained.
So this is at the Nvidia lab.
And it's accelerating the pace of robotics development in ways that I don't think people are aware of just how crazy this is. We're moving beyond the slow, incremental progress of the past into an era where robots can learn incredibly complex skills at unbelievable speeds, like learning how to walk in under 2 hours. Understanding this shift is key to understanding where robotics is headed and just how quickly we might see truly capable machines emerge. Recently, I've been seeing a clip making the rounds online. It features Jim Fan, Nvidia's director of AI, talking about some advancements in robotics learning.
And we can transfer that zero shot without any fine-tuning to the real robot.
I want to dive deeper into this and what Fan said because the underlying breakthroughs are truly revolutionary for the future of robotics. Getting a handle on why this is such a big deal will give you a much clearer lens through which to view future progress in the field. I'm Brogan Pratt, and I've been an educator in robotics, design, and technology for over 10 years now. I've watched this field evolve, and I can tell you that the methods being demonstrated now represent a massive leap forward. So in this video, I'm going to run you through the core ideas behind this powerful new training paradigm, moving learning from the real world into hyper-realistic simulations. We'll take a look at a clip from Fan and also discuss the broader implications, what this acceleration really means for the robots that we might see in the future. Before we look at the specifics shown in the presentation, let's establish what used to happen in robotics training. Traditionally, teaching a robot something complex like walking involves a lot of real-world trial and error. It's slow and expensive, and the dream has always been to be able to do the bulk of this learning in simulation, but transferring that knowledge effectively to a physical robot has been a major roadblock, the infamous sim-to-real gap.
And next, we can also apply that to much more complicated robots like the humanoid. And these humanoid robots, they went through 10 years worth of training in only 2 hours of simulation time to learn walking.
Just think about that. 10 years worth of training in 2 hours. That is the real power of simulation. Can you imagine a baby learning how to walk? I mean, this takes most children years to learn, and this robot did it in just 2 hours. If you can run virtual scenarios thousands, even millions of times, you can do that way faster in real life. And this acceleration is going to change how we develop those robots. Simulation drastically cuts down the time needed and to acquire those vast amounts of experience. The question is, can you take this speed and apply it to a lot of different types of robots?
And then you can transfer that. And it doesn't matter what the embodiment is. As long as you have the robot model, you simulate it, and you can do the walking.
Embodiment simply means the physical form of the robot. Fan is saying that this simulation-based training approach isn't limited to just specific humanoids being shown. If you have an accurate digital model, whether it's a dog-like robot, a wheeled robot, a robotic arm, the principle of training through simulation and then transferring that knowledge can potentially be applied. This makes the technique incredibly versatile and scalable across different hardware. Now, the task of walking is pretty complex, but robots need to do a lot more. Think about coordinating the entire body for agile movements, like jumping, rolling, throwing a ball. And this is what Fan refers to as the whole body control problem, and it's incredibly difficult.
And can we do more than walking, right? So as we are controlling our body, you can track any pose that you want, track any key point, follow any velocity vector that you want. And this is called the whole body control problem of humanoid. And it's really difficult, but we can train that, right, on 10,000 simulations running in parallel.
10,000 simulations running in parallel. That's the key to handling the immense complexity of whole body control. Instead of just one robot learning slowly, imagine 10,000 digital copies learning simultaneously, trying slightly different things, sharing their findings, and collectively figuring out complex coordination strategies much, much faster. It's like having a massive team working on a problem all at once, but it's all in a computer. For years, that major hurdle has been the sim-to-real gap. Skills learned in simulation often didn't work well in the real world without lots of need for experts.
And we can transfer that zero shot without any fine-tuning to the real robot. So this is at the Nvidia lab.
Zero shot transfer. No more fine-tuning. This is a monumental shift because at zeroth shot, means it works straight out of the box. The learning is done entirely in the virtual world, and it's directly loaded on the physical robot. And it performs the task correctly without any additional real-world practice or adjustments. So fans telling us that Nvidia has made some massive strides in making their simulations so realistic and their training methods so robust that they've effectively bridged that critical sim-to-real gap for these tasks. Now, this is a director saying this about his own company, so take this with a grain of salt, but some of these simulations are looking pretty convincing.
We actually need to slow down the video. So the first video is in real time, and the next video is slowed down. So you can see the sophistication of the motion that it does. It imitates the human, all these agile motions, while standing balanced.
Just take a look at that. The jump, mid-air 180 turn, that simulated shot, stable landing, these require some incredible dynamic balance and precise coordination. And remember that according to Fan, these robots learned how to do this purely from simulated experience, and it was transferred over zero shot.
And guys, how big of the neural network it is required to do this? It is 1.5 million parameters, not billion. 1.5 million parameters is enough to capture the subconscious processing of the human body, the system-wide reasoning. 1.5 million parameters.
Parameters are like the adjustable settings in the AI's network that get tuned during the learning. In today's world of AI, where large language models boast hundreds of billions or even trillions of parameters, that's incredibly small. And this relatively small size suggests something big. It hints that achieving highly agile physical robots might not require these impossibly huge AI models. So let's quickly recap why that shift's so impactful. Why should you care about robots learning in simulation? Well, first, it's speed. Learning decades of experience and hours drastically accelerates the development. For cost and safety, the training digitally avoids expensive hardware damage and that real-world risks. For scalability and versatility, the methods can potentially apply to many different robot forms and training thousands in parallel. We bridge that sim to real-life gap. That zero-shot transfer unlocks the efficiency of simulation, make those virtual learning directly applicable in the real world. This enables robots to learn sophisticated, dynamic, whole-body movements that previously were very hard to achieve. And the 1.5 million parameters suggested that complex physical control might be achievable with relatively compact AI models. This combination of factors represents a fundamental change in how we build capable robots. It doesn't mean that humanoid helpers are arriving to your house next week, but that pathway for creating more advanced, agile, and useful robots just became significantly clearer and faster. The progress driven by these techniques in the coming years could be truly transformative across many industries, potentially even our daily lives. If you found value in unpacking this content and want to keep learning about the rapidly evolving world of robotics and AI, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel. It genuinely helps the channel reach more people interested in this field and allows me to keep creating informative content like this. Thanks for watching, and best of luck on your next robotics project.